I'd gotten to a point.
He was
I'm thinking,
done.
if they escape again, we are having
cheeseburger for dinner.
Gourmet steak for dinner. If I had to do it again, would I do it again? No, I wouldn't.
Get some more supplies. Because guess what? We have another storm coming. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today's gonna be a major life update. We have had a lot going on that we haven't been telling you about. A huge thanks to Blooming for sponsoring today's video. So first of all, the big news is that Judah just a couple hours ago arrived at his home in Japan. He left yesterday early morning, so it is a really long trip for him, and it just feels good on this mama's heart to know he is safely arrived. And he's excited to get back to his mission. I know it was hard for him to leave. He ended up leaving 3 or 4 days later than his ticket was, which I will explain later. It's just been one of those weeks, guys. And then his trip here was just really odd. He had extended it a little. He had surprised us, the kids, on Christmas Day. Solo and I knew he was coming, and it was so nice to have him here. But the trip has been really weird. Like, I know he hadn't even been like at church for a whole service in the 3 Sundays he was here. It's just so odd, and that's just very unlike Judah, if you know Judah. But the first week he ended up in the ER with my grandma, who's fine now, but he was like the one available to go take care of her. And the second Sunday he was really sick. He ended up even needing an antibiotic, and he got so sick he like couldn't hear for half of the time he was here. It really affected his ears. And so he was like, huh? All the time. I know he was really miserable some of the time. And then that last Sunday, church was canceled. So for a bad winter storm. It was just a very odd time, but I know he was really happy he came home, and he's excited to get the last part done and really accomplish the mission he's gone to do. So, you know, we've gone through a lot since in the last week and a half, I would say, with the weather. You prepare as much as you can for weather, especially living in the country. This is really our first full winter here, and we thought we had enough chicken food, and we mostly did. We got through, but we could have prepared more for that. Like, I didn't realize how much they would eat in the winter. We thought we had plenty of firewood. We went through it faster than we thought. Like, all these different little things happen when you actually get to experience your first really bad storm where you're stuck. It's been interesting. We are about to go out, finally, getting out of the house with Tori for something special, and it's just, everything has just been so weird for a couple weeks. So I'm gonna tell you more about that in a minute. As I've been getting ready, I've been using my Blooming. I really love this. I've showed you guys this before. I use this daily for like 3 minutes a day. It has different light therapies. You can hear it vibrates when it's on your skin. This thing, let me take my glasses off. This thing is so nice because it like tightens and tones your skin. It uses a microcurrent, and so it like tightens your jawline or tones it, and it decreases puffiness. And I've been using it a lot when I'm getting ready. It's helping this winter skin in this terrible weather. I know a lot of you guys asked about it, were really interested. The last time I talked about it, it always sells out really fast. It actually has several different light therapies. So lots of different ways to solve all kinds of different skin problems you might have. But Blooming is offering $70 off for the first 100 people, and this thing always sells out, guys. So I'll put a link in my description box below if you are interested in getting one. It's a great deal, and you don't have to pay if it doesn't work for you. This thing is normally $150, so that $70 off is a great deal, and it comes with a free ebook. You really only have to use it 3 minutes 3 times a week to see a big difference, so I love that. All right, let's get going. I'm gonna tell you the story on the way. Do we have a story for you? Solo and I are out in the truck taking Tori to her
very late birthday lunch.
It's like 10 days late.
Yeah.
No more than that. And we just thought we would share the story of what happened to us this last week. You guys have gotten little glimpses of it in the last couple videos that I put up. I think it's an important story to share because so many people are new homesteaders or wannabe homesteaders. I know there's a couple ways I think a lot of people think in their minds. So one is that I think sometimes people have someone with them, or they have experience from their childhood, or they have someone with a lot of experience. That's awesome. But a lot of people are like us, where they didn't necessarily they're not getting all their experience from someone living with them, or they didn't have it as a child. And so sometimes you can have one of two thoughts, I think. One is that you can be nervous about what challenges you will face, which I think I was more there, like, how do we know we can get through a winter with all these animals? What if we have a big storm, you know? How could we ever know enough of what to do? Or you can be totally ignorant to the fact that you are gonna face challenges and not really prepare yourself at all. So I think I fell more into the first camp for sure. We have tried to prepare ourselves for this winter as best we can. Although I would say we have not had a winter like this for a lot of years. I think somebody at the wedding told me this is the worst storm in 30 years in our area. Did you hear that too?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of three elements together. Like in every winter we experience this, right? But
Yeah.
not combined, where you have lots and lots of snow, very windy, like blizzard condition, and extreme low temperatures.
Yes.
You know, below zero. Now, in every winter, we get any of those elements, not always together. We might get a lot of snow, but the weather can be relatively mild, you know, anywhere from 0 to 25, you know, which it would be mild compared to what we just came out of.
Yes.
So combining all those three together at the same time for a prolonged time, it just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often. Yeah.
It doesn't, but it happened this week. So let's back up a little bit. Well, you saw what happened with the wedding, maybe, if you were watching all our videos. And a lot of people commented, you guys need a four-wheeler with a plow on it. We have a four-wheeler with a plow on it, actually. It wasn't our driveway that was the problem at all.
No, it was the roads.
It was the roads. And even our neighbors have big tractors, and they were not getting through it. They were not going out to plow the road with their tractor. So our four-wheeler with a plow was not helpful to us at all. That was useless.
I went to Tractor Supply one of the days to take care of some of the problems we had. Maybe she'll share with you here. And I was talking to a lady who lives not too far from where we do, that worked there, and she said she's lived there for, I don't know, as far as she can remember. This was the longest she'd ever been shut in at home because of a storm.
Yeah.
She could not leave her house for 3 days.
Wow.
And she's lived there for 20-some years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was basically our situation. So early in the week, and by the way, our builder told us too, he's lived in the country a long time. He's like, it's not normally like this. This is not normal country living. We half lived out here last winter, and it was nothing. We didn't face any challenges. Of course, this year we have animals. We are fully living out here, and it was very challenging. So early in the week, let me say Monday, Tuesday, we had a huge snowstorm. All the schools were shut down for days, 3 days, I think. We had a lot of snow and closures. We figured out one route we could get out, but we were stuck for days, a couple days. And we were starting to get stir crazy by day 3. We were all in the house. We knew it was coming, so even we had an extra person. We had Katie around, and like Judah was staying in the RV, so she was sleeping down in the basement with the girls, and we were just like a lot of people in a tiny place. It was fun in a lot of ways because we just had a lot of time together that we did not anticipate that we would have. And I mentioned, like, I think in my What's for Dinner video, that one night the cows had gotten out one day and we were chasing them around trying to get them in. We don't have a lot of experience with cows. We're pretty new to them. We just got them this fall, and we were starting to feel like we were losing them. They were just like jumping and wild, out of control. And so I talked about how Luka scared them in, but we got them in. We're so thankful. We put the wire back. And that night, Solo had gone to buy like a battery because we figured our solar was not working well in the weather. Our solar panel
was running out, you know.
Yeah, the battery in that was running out. So yeah, we got a big old battery, and we thought, okay, we're good now. We have a tester for our electric fence, and it wasn't high, the voltage.
Well, it's supposed to be changing. Like when the fence is working, it's supposed to be changing up and down, a lot of movements. And we were getting good voltage at the beginning, but not in all spots, you know, so.
Yeah, so it was a little concerning. We're kind of watching it. Our focus became on just getting to that wedding. We were taking care of the animals, of course. And then it was just really bad. Like, people were stuck all over the place. I can't even believe the wedding happened. So many accidents.
The city of Lincoln recorded so many, and the state patrol, so many.
So that was, let me say, the 13th of January. So the 14th was Judah's birthday and his last day in town. So it was a Sunday, but that night, at that point, the temperatures were dropping down to like -34 or something. It was insanely cold. That is not wind chill. I'm talking about actual temperatures. And so we had to cancel church that day. Actually, our road to our church was not even passable at all. So we canceled church, and that morning we were about ready to do some worship time together as a family, like gathering everybody, and Hope looks out the window and said, Minnie and Lenny are out. And we just looked like my brain didn't even comprehend who she was talking about at first. And then I realized that the cows were out, and they were down by our alfalfa bale, munching away. So that started 2 days, basically, of constantly getting the cows back in. All the kids helping, like, not all the kids, all the big kids helping. The boys. Eli, Micah, Luka especially. It was so crazy. We kept getting them back in and getting them back in, and they would escape. And so we realized, okay, we need to move them up to the area where we have the tall fencing and just electrify that. But we actually had to move the electric box up there in order to do that, which means we also had to move their water up there. We had to move our grounding pegs up there. It's just farther. Like, they walk far for their water, but it's worked out so far because the water's close to us by the house. We can easily fill it. We have electricity there to keep defrosters there, but to move them up by their tall fencing, by their shed, and just keep them up there.
We have electricity down there, it's just that we don't have a water source.
Yeah, so we figured, okay, we have to do it because they keep escaping, and it takes us so much time to get them in. Like, we don't know cows that well. Over and over, they just kept getting out because they realized that wire's not hot. So we had to get them up there, which meant we had to carry water really far. It's like all the way down our long driveway. And at that point, we didn't have any vehicles that were not stuck. Oh, your truck was the only thing not stuck. And so some of it we were carrying, some of it were like putting buckets of water in the back of the truck. The next morning, we have them in their area. We realized their water is like, although we had a defroster in there, it was like 5 inches thick of ice. The defroster had not worked, even though we had checked the electricity. Sure enough, the power had tripped. So we had to work on that. We had to break the ice. We had to get more hot water out there to help break the ice. And then by that afternoon, was it? Or late morning, that morning, the cows were out again in the tall fencing, like the big netting fencing. And we couldn't even figure out how they'd gotten out. There was no hole for them to get out of.
But not even find the track.
Well, yeah, we couldn't even find the tracks in the snow. It's like they jumped over it or something. So we get everybody up again. I'm talking about, like, the warmest was probably -17 in these 2 days.
Yeah, it's in the negative, yeah.
Monday, Judah's flight canceled for one, Sunday night, to cheers and roars from all of us. We were so excited. And somehow his friends had come out the day before because they wanted to say goodbye to him. Somehow they had gotten through. I think they had plowed the road. Oh yeah, from the wedding, it was still plowed. So their cars were not stuck like ours. And so they got out there. So we had one of Judah's friends helping too. There were so many of us. I counted 5 hours we were outside on Monday.
I didn't even think it's possible to be alive.
I didn't either. I didn't think we could be alive that long. Oh my gosh. I tell you, with the right gear, you can be alive. And we did have like some overalls. People would take little breaks when they just felt pain in their fingers or toes or nose. We had scarves wrapped, so we only had our eyes out. It was so crazy. Although I think on Sunday we were chasing the cows like down to the road, and tell you, you get warm when you're running through deep snow in all of that gear chasing cows.
And then, which is also, you can run into a danger of dehydration without knowing.
Yes.
Because you're sweating inside, but you're cold outside. It's
yes.
A weird feel.
It was nuts. I can never portray to you in words how nuts it felt. Like, who are we?
I got into a point.
He was
I'm thinking,
done.
If they escape again, we are having
cheeseburger for dinner.
Gourmet steak for dinner.
And he was not even kidding by the end of it. I was like, someone hide the gun. It was so bad. We just never even thought we were capable of being outside that long.
Yeah.
So we got them back in that fencing and they kept getting out. And we were we had someone babysitting the cows all the time. And that I know at one point, my hands were hurting so bad. Eli had just come out. I was like, okay, Eli, I'm gonna go in and send Luka out. He and Evan and Judah were at the store picking up, because my sister-in-law figured out what we were doing, and she grew up on a cattle farm, and she's like, you go out right now and you buy cattle panels. She sent us a picture, told us where to go, and so he and the boys went to buy that. Thank goodness our car was able to get out. I mean, our truck was moving around and stuff. And so I had sent, I said, Eli, just babysit him for a second. Eli's very good with those cows. And he said they separated and they just walked the fence right down. So obviously they knew they weren't gonna get a shock from it, so it did not stop them at all. And they were able to get out even with him watching them. They probably escaped, I don't know, 12 times within those couple of days. And let me tell you what the good things happened. Well, first of all, they now have cattle panel.
Testing of our faith produces patience. I don't know why the Apostle Peter wrote that in the Bible.
I was so glad I wasn't milking cows. I was like, thank you, Jesus. I'm not milking them and dealing with them, learning them, you know. But let me tell you, by the end of that, we'll probably never have to scare them back anywhere. We learned how to move and manage cows so well. I would say, especially you and I and Luka and Eli. Yeah. We could just tell them what to do by the end of it, and we would just guide them back. We didn't need the wires. We didn't need anything. We didn't need to scare them. Like, they listened to us. We were just get in their face. You go this way.
It was boot camp, a crash course.
That's exactly what it was.
We learned all of it.
We learned all of it in like 2 days.
And they learned that we had the ball still.
They did. It was actually so good in the end. First of all, we learned that we're indestructible almost. Not really, but we can be out in the cold for a long time. Like,
I gotta admit, I still have a few nightmares thinking, even with the cattle panel, would I see them out in the open field?
I do too. I keep looking at that bale, because the good thing is every time they escape, they would go to the alfalfa bale, which we bring them alfalfa all the time, but they love that bale, and it happens because of where we set them up in the beginning. It happens to be far from them. So thankfully, we would have a magnet that would they would go to that every time. So we would just lead them back home. We just learned so much about cows. I mean, how to manage our particular cows so well. We truly could just walk them home after a while. Like, they would try to get feisty a little, and we would just whip them into shape. Not really, but line them up and, hey, you stop that and go this way, and, you know, like pushing them around basically. They listened to us by the end of it. I recently heard a quote about how now is the time to burn your bread, because you can still get to the store and buy bread, right? I really felt like that about this situation. Like, we learned so much. Nobody was harmed in the process, and it helped us know better how to prepare for winter in ways we didn't know before. We didn't know electric fences can have trouble. We didn't realize if you're not able to get your grounder far enough into a new spot, you're not getting electricity at all. We didn't know the cows will just walk down a high fence like that.
Even a farmer that I talked to, the friend that said, you know, I thought your fence is pretty good, but because we had to move the grounder and the ground was it was all frozen, so we couldn't go far enough for what. Yeah, because he thought our fence would have done it. I asked him yesterday. He thought, yeah, I thought this fence would have done it. But, yes. So we weren't crazy.
We weren't crazy.
It's just that we weren't set up to be there originally.
Yes.
Where we are. Yeah.
I think through that storm, we also realized how our driveway is. it's pretty good, but some of the places we had cars parked were not very good. So I think in the future, we know better how to line up our cars.
Yeah.
Some of those little details we've learned for our property, what's better when you're preparing. When we know storms are coming, we will just use that cattle panel, keep them in there. I think we're gonna buy a little more, make their area a little larger, but oh, it was so good to finally have a space where they could be there for real.
One of the things that for sure I'm gonna do is like some of the cars that were stuck, I could have pulled with my truck, but it's so deep in the snow, didn't have places where I could hook him up easily. I'm gonna build in some of those hookup areas in before winter.
Yeah.
Just have places we can hook.
You did manage to pull the gator out when one of the kids drove that in.
Because it has a lot of easy places to hook it
up. Gotcha.
Without damaging the car.
Yes.
And so that was kind of a challenge. But so some stuff like that would help. But in terms of the road, there's nothing we could have done about that. Like
no, there's nothing we could have done about the road. And then our farmer friend, one of them came over with his tractor and helped us pull, because Judah had run one of the cars into a ditch, not knowing the ditch was there in deep snow. So he helped us pull that out, which was awesome. We do have wonderful neighbors, and a lot of them have cattle and cattle experience.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, you kind of got to go through this escaping cow part. It's just the name of the game.
Yeah.
Our farmer told us, train them. We have been giving them a little corn, even though they hadn't had corn before, and train them to that bucket. And so then you always, they see that bucket, they'll come running to you, that you bring them corn in the same bucket. Just little things like that. So it's very helpful to know all of that.
They're food motivated. That helps a lot.
That helps a lot. And now, I don't know, it's so much more fun with those cows now that we're more comfortable with them. I think you have found that it's easier to be around them. Luka, he loves it. Eli can't wait to be around them. We spent so much time with them. We bonded.
Luka is a natural though.
He's very, very good. We called him every time. Like,
he's a natural cowboy.
Yeah, it was awesome. So anyway, all of that to say, it was the wildest, craziest, felt very disastrous week, but also it was so good in so many ways because we learned a lot and we survived and we got like the best workout ever. I said real work is better than any workout at a gym.
Yeah.
I'm still sore 4 days later.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
You learn through adversity.
You do learn through adversity.
If I had to do it again, would I do it again? No, I wouldn't. But I learned. I'm glad I learned the lessons.
There were a few of us that were like, that was awesome. We did so good. That was an adventure.
Not as it was happening. It was after it was done.
All right, we had a wonderful lunch. We ate Mongolian grill. Did you like it, Tori?
Yeah, it was really good.
Worth the wait? And then we just went to get some more supplies because guess what? We have another storm coming. We're stocked up well though. We're ready. We probably will have to get some more cattle panel, but Solo's still upset about the first batch. Yeah. I'm prompting you here. Do you want to say it? What you kept saying? That you spent more on cattle panel than your cow?
Oh yeah, when I went, that bill was more expensive than how much we paid for each cow, and I thought, as a financial planner, I don't know, I would have probably eaten the cows and saved more money, but I have to think about the gift I will keep on giving over the years. But I was like, oh geez, I even paid more. Just it's long-term investment.
They're not cheap.
Capital investment.
We'll get some more eventually when he's not quite as bitter about it.
Yeah. The day I drink milk from one of those cows.
Yeah, it better be good milk.
It'll take a while to get your ROI.
But listen, our what? Oh yeah, return of investment. Then when we get the milk, we'll also get another cow out of that deal, hopefully.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for watching today. Don't forget to check out Blue Mean to be one of those that gets $70 off. Check out the link in the description box below. We appreciate you being here, all your words of wisdom and support and encouragement. And criticism.
Good and bad criticism.
What? Is there good criticism?
There's constructive criticism.
Oh yes, that's true.
It's just criticizing for criticizing and saying.
Yes, I know the people that do what we're doing, they have so much grace because they understand, they've been there. So sometimes people that really have no knowledge except what they've learned off the internet can be, that criticism can be a little more annoying to take.
Exactly. If I can paint an imagery of 4 pencils,
okay,
1 very sharp and 3 other ones are dull, you know, it's easy for the one to stay sharp when it's done no work.
Oh. Okay, that sounds like a sermon illustration there.
I should use it on a sample one.
Yeah. Okay guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.